Right, on to our most fun and interactive match that we've had in the top 8, Storm versus Affinity.
Yeah. It's actually so we got to see this earlier. Didn't Brian actually play against Affinity in the Swiss? He did, right? Yeah.
Was it Affinity or was
yes,
it?
it was. Yeah, he played against it in round 2 when we featured
Okay.
him, and he remembered seeing I believe like Springleaf Drum, and he's like, all right, well, I guess I win this one because Storm is definitely favored in this matchup, and I believe.
Hey, I have no issues against Storm. Storm is great. I've played the deck. I'm a Jund player who has picked this deck up for a tournament before. And I did well with it. So that's a testament to A, how powerful the deck is, and B, how good it is that I was willing to put down my pet deck Jund, because Jund was good at the time.
Right.
And pick up a Storm deck to play it in a tournament.
True.
I also lent my buddy my black-green deck at the time, and he actually won the tournament with my black-green deck. So I got a little bit of EV out of that, too.
No, that's fair. But let's see here. So Bryant is keeping his 7, it looks like, and then Gerrett is a mulling. I'm curious, I guess, considering that I didn't actually get to see the final standings before our top 8 started. I'm not sure who's actually on the play. I know that they were, I believe, like the 4 and the 5 seed. So
They were
if this is
4-5 going into top 8.
yeah, but they wouldn't have gotten paired against each other. I think it might have been Gerrett might have been either the 4, the 5, and then Cook might have been like the 3 seed, maybe.
Yeah, I think Cook's on the play.
So maybe Brian Cook was the 3 seed and Gerrett was either the 4 or the 5.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah, Bryant
Anyways.
was likely the 3 seed. Gerrett was likely the 4 seed.
yeah. At the time, still a good hint. But yeah, so Brian gets to start us off with the old turn 1 Steam Vento. He's playing his nice Japanese foils as he does.
Yeah, deck's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Can't deny that.
Oh no, he's got some nice cards, to put it that way.
I had a friend who had a Japanese foil scape shift deck.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then he sold it all, got regular English foils, sold that, has a completely different deck now. But he's one of the like buy sellers you'll see at any given Grand Prix.
Sure.
So he can churn and burn through cards really quickly.
Yeah, a little envious, but then again, I have a hard time letting go of my stuff. If I have like a foil deck, I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I'll just
I don't
buy
want to get
another
rid of it.
foil deck.
Like I'll get rid of like whatever standard cards. I'm not too, keen on whatever that. But like
Yeah.
anything that I've ever played in my Jund Modern deck, I'll never get rid of because like I know I played this once. It might be good again,
Yeah,
and we've seen that
right?
Dreadbore's come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, right. All right, well,
Interesting.
respecting that signal pest.
Disappointed in the Spire Bluff Canal on the table currently.
Yeah, that's yeah, if I had a punt counter for Bryant, I'd have to go up to 1 for playing a non-foil English Spiral Canal, but oh well. It's interesting that he decided to just fire off the grape shot. He must have some yeah, this makes sense. So he very likely has remand in his hand, so he basically can go remand whatever Gerrett plays, and the next turn maybe go off and just kill him. So the grape shot is just like a bridge where he had 2 mana to spend on turn 2.
Yep.
Might as well just kill
Still
the
in the
signal pest.
graveyard, still an accessible card through
Right.
Past and Flames.
Yeah. Why run Tarns and Storm? Well, I mean, Tarns allow you to get basics. So if you wanted to play something like Blood Moon in your sideboard, you can do that.
Yeah, it allows you to be more flexible in your mana base.
Yeah, I mean, if you scry something to the bottom, you can actually shuffle it back and possibly draw it. There are 2 different schools of thought in terms of, do you play with fetch lands or do you not? And it's tough to say exactly which one's better or which one's worse. I mean, I think Caleb Shearer really likes the version that has no fetch lands in it, I believe. But most Storm pilots, I believe, run fetches in the deck, right?
Yeah, I believe that's the thing. Like, you can 110% run this deck without the fetches, right? It just makes your mana base a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a little bit less painful than isn't playing fetches. Don't play fetches. I mean, Caleb Shearer is just one dude. I mean, what if he's wrong? You don't know that. He could be wrong.
Hey, man, I concede to the fact that Caleb Shearer is probably the king of the Storm decks. But
I don't know. Brian
the
Cook
Prince and the Jester, I think, at the current standing, is Brian Cook and Paul Muller.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He just rolls a die.
Yeah, again, the redundancy that we've talked about with this deck, just it really doesn't matter what you give them off the pass. The gifts are given.
What Bryant does with his winnings is his business. Caleb won regionals today. All right, well, Bryant's not one to be outdone, so
Brian is on his way, from what it looks like. Gerrett had a slow start. We took care of the 1-drop. Random 2-drop into random 2-drop is not going to get through the storm that Brian is putting together currently. Already have 10 on the stack. If he has a remand in hand, he could go Grape Shot from the graveyard, remand Grape Shot.
Well, no, because the remand would move the Grape Shot into exile.
All right.
It? Yeah, because I believe that if it goes into any zone that's not exile, then it just gets exiled instead.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways, I mean, at this
We
point,
just have multiple Manamorphos accessible to us.
Brian can cast literally whatever he wants. Yep, and Garrett's like, okay, I've seen enough. We're just going to scoop up my cards and go to game 2.
Yeah, we know there's a Grape Shot in the graveyard. We know you still have spells to cast.
Yeah, so I think it is also possible that in that game, Bryant could have just not had the remand, but because he had Brawl with a mana up, he could have cast Ritual into Manamorphos into Gifts Ungiven during Garrett's turn if Gerrett went like a Galvanic Blast on Brawl, and then he could just rebuild from there.
Yeah, I think that's what Bryant was really just hinging on. I'm going to bluff the remand, and if you have something where I have to do something, then sure, I have Ritual Ritual into gifts,
it's like
cards.
It's not quite a semi-bluff, but it's kind of close, where he basically can make Gerrett think that, okay, I have remand, but he could also just very easily have Ritual into Manamorphose into Gifts Ungiven at instant speed, and either way, both things are great for Bryant. He's let one of the things Bryant buys be a bigger shirt. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna tell Bryant that. I mean, maybe I will. Probably not.
Why not a tighter shirt?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. Probably not though. Oh my lord. That's funny.
No, guys, we all know what Brian Cook needs to buy, right? It's a Japanese foil Spire Buff Canal.
Yeah.
Right? We saw a non-foil English Spire Buff Canal already.
Possibly two. I mean, he's got 4 in his deck.
Yeah, he should have the full 4. That's easily the best land in your deck.
Who knows how many of those Spire Bluff Canals are just English non foils?
Probably all of them. That's a travesty.
That's not acceptable.
I have a friend actually who plays Jund, right? And his entire Jund deck was foil. The entire thing. And his rule when playing cards in the sideboard is I can't play it if I don't have a foil copy of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and he just didn't have foil copies of Knight of Souls of Trails.
Was it John
random,
or was it somebody else?
Yeah, John Delano.
Yeah, I thought so.
He didn't have a Knight of Souls Betrayal foil, so he just never would play that card because he never had a foil one. John Delano.
John Delano, oh my lord. Oh man, I miss him. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Oh, he's doing phenomenal right now. I don't know if you keep up with him at all.
I mean, a little bit, but I only see updates on Facebook. So
he's on a pro paintball team now. They've upgraded from a semi-pro team to in the official pro league now.
He actually plays competitively.
Yeah, John Delano is such a master.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude.
Phenomenal pro tour caliber Magic player.
Yeah.
Right, and now is currently a professional paintball player.
Yeah. Just a pro at everything he does,
that's
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's so awesome.
Yeah. I'm just sad I don't actually get to see him in person anymore. But
yeah, John's a phenomenal human being.
Yeah, no, he's cool. I at least get to see updates on social media, so it's nice to be able to at least know what he's up to.
As terrible as Facebook can be, there are bits of bright light.
Right. It does allow you to keep up to date on some stuff, which, not the worst. You don't want to actually bend a card of Bryant's. Oh man, yeah, don't do that. Brian will ask you to pay for his. Do you know that story where Bryant once upon a time had an opponent accidentally bend one of his Japanese full brainstorms and then try to get his opponent to pay for it?
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild story. I mean, you can find it on the internet in certain places, but
I think I've only played against Bryant Cook once in my life. That was at a PPTQ out in this area. I think he crushed me, or I crushed him. It was one of the two. I think it was playing a super lopsided matchup.
In what format?
I think it was Modern.
Okay. That's fair.
I think I was on some like ridiculous Grixis deck. By that I mean like Shriekmaw Grixis deck.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think, oh man, last time I played Bryant was in Legacy and he beat me with Storm. I was sad, but that happens. It's alright. I've played against Bryant a lot. I think he's probably ahead in my lifetime matchups against him, but certainly had a lot of different interactions in Legacy mostly.
You got a question in the chat.
Oh, let's see here. How does a Storm ever defeat our Lord and Savior Phyrexian Crusader? I mean, they just bounce it. I was saying, like,
They unsubstantiate, repeal,
does have some cards that are bounce spells.
wipe away, echoing truth.
Yeah. Although I will say that if Brian is expecting lightning bolts to do the job, they are not going to do the job versus our crusading boy.
I'm more of on the Mirren side of the Crusades.
Yeah.
And the removal spells tend to be much better on the black-green side of things.
No, that's fair. But yeah, Timmy MTG is a player from my local area, and he currently plays Black Green Infect in Modern.
Nice.
Yeah, so like Phyrexian Crusader against a wide range of Modern decks right now. I mean, with Lightning Bolt being arguably the most played card in the
Yeah,
entire
it is
format.
definitely taken over since Bloodbraid Elf.
Yep. And if Lightning Bolt's the most played removal spell, and Path Exile is maybe number 2 or actually number 1,
Or
then
the best removal spell
yeah,
in Modern.
If those two are the most played, then boop, Phyrexian Crusader all of a sudden looks real good. But anyways,
I can't infect. I just can't get behind that.
Nah, it's all right. It takes a certain mindset. But back to the match here. Out of the chat into the match. So Gerrett off to a reasonable start. It's not too bad. Oh, this is there we go. That's not bad. So he gets to play turn 1 Vault Scourge, followed up with Cranial Plating, Opal to put the plating on the Scourge, attack for 4, get a bunch of life back. Bryant took 3 on his first turn to cast that Serum Visions, so Bryant's already at 13, and Gerrett is at 22. Not a bad start for Gerrett. Is this going to be a... Ooh.
Shattering Spree with Replicate.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think there's a question of if he actually goes after the Mox Opal and leaves the Scourge, but he probably... If I had to guess, I would assume that he's probably just going to get rid of the Scourge and the plating. Sometimes it's right to go after the Affinity player's mana, but in this spot here, I think that it's...
Oh, he is.
Oh, he
okay.
is? Really? Interesting. Maybe there's like a Grape Shot in Brian's hand, and he's hoping that Gerrett will play another 1 toughness creature so he can go cantrip into Grape Shot, get rid of both of them. If he has a Grape Shot in his hand, it makes a lot of sense to leave the Scourge in play to be able to pick off on a later turn.
Yeah, I think the creature permanents are much easier for Brian to deal with.
Oh, for sure.
So, we have Lightning Bolts, Abrades, Wipeaways, Echoing Truths. But granted, you can use the bounce spells on Mox Opals, but it feels much worse.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get like a halfway decent Grape Shot here, you can take an entire board away from Gerrett.
Yeah, Brian is playing his stuff real fast. I think he's got some type of action here that's going to really remove Gerrett's stuff from the field.
Even just a Manamorphose into a Grape Shot, killing 2 creatures is fine.
Yeah.
Like, kill everything but the Signal Pest.
Right, yeah. To get rid of the actual Vault Scourges. Let's see. It's Seer Visions. Yeah, Storm count 2. I wonder, maybe he's going to go Seer Visions into like a Ritual into Grape Shot and then get rid of all 3.
Possibly. Yeah, Grape Shot not being an instant kind of hurts, so we can't ever hit the man land.
Jeez. All right, so
Manamorphose, Grape Shot, kill all 3 creatures.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Yep, and Gerrett already knows what's going to happen. Going to deal 1 to all of his creatures. Going to have to try to rebuild again.
Gerrett only has 3 cards in hand, maybe 4 cards in hand, so it's not going to be easy to rebuild.
Looks like 3 cards.
Probably go Arcbound Ravager, maybe a Steel Overseer, Cranial Plate.
I mean, Cranial Plate is at least something. It's just pretty anemic as the only artifact on the battlefield right now.
Was that Baral or Baral Gibson given, maybe?
I couldn't quite tell. Hard to say. I mean,
that's a gifts and a land, I think.
Yeah. It looks like just take that. I think that he's got. Yeah, Bryant's is like, nah, I don't need that this turn. I'm only gonna. Bryant, if you're ever playing as Bryant, when he brings out the Storm counters, he thinks that he's gonna win. So if he does that, expect.
I think most Storm players will generally do that.
Right. Oh, that's true. Yeah. No, you definitely
Or
right
just
about
the turn that you untap with an enabler. Generally a good turn to bring out all cards unless you just don't have anything that you can do. Like if you don't have a Gifts or a Past in Flames,
Right.
then you're in that situation like you would be in Legacy where what percentage cards do I need to filter through in order to find one of those cards to keep going, keep the combo going.
That's true. I guess so. Does Gerrett have anything else to make this Ink Moth a little bit more threatening, or is he just gonna suit it up and hit him for 3? Or I guess he can't even suit up. He needs another land in order to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's possible he has a Mox Opal or a land in his hand.
It's possible, I guess.
We saw him sandbag the Opal until he knew he had lethal against the Tron opponent.
That's true. I mean, let's see. So 1 mana for a.
Could also be another setup turn,
It's possible.
which might be a Thoughtseize.
Nope, just
He's not even playing Thoughtseize either.
no, he's not.
He's really got nothing. I guess he got Damping Spheres. Damping Spheres another solid card against the Storm deck.
He's got Damping Sphere and he's got Rest in Peace. Those are and Graphics Cage. Those are the 5 cards that he wants to bring in here. The enchantments actually would be particularly strong if he could get any. Like, Rest in Peace in particular would be very powerful. It would force Bryant to have one of his bounce spells before going off. But I mean, Bryant also has Gifts Ungiven, so even if Gerrett did have some type of hate card, Bryant could very easily Gifts Ungiven for 4 different cards that get rid of the hate piece, and then go off from there. But Bryant doesn't have any more lands at least, so let's have a follow-up creature. 'Cause he didn't equip the plating. Okay. Yep.
Braid the Opal.
It's interesting that he didn't equip the plating though. Huh. Maybe I'm. Oh wait. Oh, the Signal Pass was on the stack, so he had braided the. Oh wait, no. But he had 3. I'm missing something. Oh well. I think I'm just missing something. Brian's shirt is a bit small. Yeah, we've noticed. Alright, so it looks like Bryant's breaking out the Storm Count card and the
Yeah, so Brian caps it in a couple of rituals. Manamorphose now counts as a ritual with the mana reducer and Baral, Chief of Compliance. Allows him to draw a card, add a blue mana to his mana pool, be able to cast his Gifts Ungiven for 3 total mana, floating a red currently still. He's going to go for 3 rituals and a Noxious Revival, which basically counts as a 4th ritual in this situation.
right.
That makes me believe he's got Past in Flames either in hand or in graveyard.
Yeah, I don't think we saw him put Past in Flames into his graveyard, so I think that
He's probably got it in hand.
I think
He's gonna
so.
go ritual, Past in Flames, continue to go off.
yeah. The awkward thing here is that if he has Past in Flames in his hand, I mean it's probably just the same no matter what, where he just can either get a bunch of mana with the 2 regular rituals, then cast Past in Flames, keep going. If he gets the Noxious Revival on the Manamorphose, he can put another ritual back on top.
Cast Manamorphose.
Yep.
Draw
the
it.
Yep. Play it.
So I don't think you can give him Noxious and Manamorphose in the same
Probably not. I think
pile.
Okay, so he's giving him both rituals. He's just going to cast it for a bunch of mana.
Cast
and
rituals. Go up mana.
As we thought.
Has the Past in Flames. Cast the Noxious Revival. Put a card on top. Start drawing cards with Manamorphoses.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be...
We're at only 9 Storm right now, so that's decent for Gerrett.
Although, I mean, considering all the cards, I mean, so Bryant can do pretty much whatever he wants. He can Manamorphose a whole bunch of times, draw a bunch of extra cards. He can Gifts Ungiven from his graveyard, finding more cards. He can Shattering Spree away whatever he wants.
Yeah, I think he needs to... Is he just... Does he
pre-
have all 4 Manamorphose?
I
I think he's still has
over.
1.
Yeah, Bryant can Bryant has approximately 20 different avenues to win this game. Doesn't really matter which way he chooses, in my opinion. Just the way that he just has far too much mana available. Yeah, he just gets ungiven. He is very likely to go search for like ritual, grape shot. That way he can, if the grape shot goes to the graveyard, he can just play a bunch of rituals, flashback the Past in Flames in his graveyard, and then play both grape shots that are there,
Yeah.
and that's lethal.
And the fourth Metamorphose is important.
Garrett figures it out. He's like, all right, you got me.
All right.
And that's
That
the
is
match.
Bryant Cook in 2 games.
Yeah, Bryant Cook is our champion here in New York. So congratulations to Bryant. Job well done. He certainly did a lot of winning today.